So typically every morning, I do my morning routine, meditate, gratitude journal, everything like that, stretch, warm up, and boom, I'm out the door. I go to the gym. I typically sit in the sauna, warm up a little bit on the treadmill, and then I'm hitting the weights. Well, this past week, I actually threw out my back. So I'm taking the whole entire week off from the weight training, and I'm just utilizing more time in that sauna, more time on the treadmill for some light cardio just to get some movement going, and really doubling down with my nutrition, really doubling down with my mindset. Now, the reason why I'm telling you this is because it has everything to do with today's episode. I'm sitting in the sauna. Typically, it's normally, right, when my back is, fully fine, I'm working out with the weights. It's anywhere from, 5 to 15 minutes just to kind of get warmed up. And then boom, on the, treadmill for 5-10 minutes, and then I'm hitting the weights, okay? So now that you understand that, I decided to put more time into the sauna. There's a lot of health benefits to that, but we're not going to talk about that in today's episode. So I'm sitting in there, maybe it's 20, 25 minutes deep, and my phone, right, overheats. Now, normally I'm listening to like an audiobook, a podcast, anything like that to just acquire more knowledge. So I'm always learning. And what's nice about it is like typically, at early mornings, no one's in the sauna. It's just me and I'm just listening to, whatever kind of audiobook or podcast that's in my headphones, and that's it. But my phone overheated. And so when your phone overheats, you literally can't do anything. You can't listen to anything. You can't, do anything. You can't even scroll through your phone, like nothing at all. The only thing that you can do is like call 911 for emergency, and that's typically it. And so I decided to go, back into the locker room, put my phone in there, and then jump right back into the sauna and just kind of sit there. Now it's just me, myself, my thoughts. That's it. And during that time, I was really starting to just kind of, think to myself. It's like, man, as my son is getting older in age, as I'm getting older in age, what are some things that I truly want to make sure that I teach my son, especially as he's getting older? He's going to be starting wrestling. At least that's what he wants to do. He wants to play basketball. He wants to, he loves watching football. I'm sure he wants to play baseball. Like, he already played soccer when he was a little kid. So I'm sure he's going to get more and more involved in the sports. And I was just thinking about that for some reason today in the sauna. And I was thinking about, man, I love the sports nature of everything because it teaches you teamwork and it teaches you about competitive nature. But bringing that to an adult setting, how many times do we focus on what other people have and it's more of a comparison instead of a thriving, like, oh, that inspires me to do better? Think about it. I love playing basketball, right? And if, let's say I was versing an opposing team and there was a player over there that was really, really good, I would be seeing that. And yeah, it's like it fuels me to do better. It fuels me to be a better basketball player, but also at the same time motivates me and inspires me. I never once wished, right, playing basketball, if I saw somebody really good that we're playing against, I never once wished like, oh, I just, I wish I was this person. I wish I had their skill sets. No, it's just like I got to do better. What can I do differently? And I think that's where my wiring is different, right, with my mindset. But in today's present sense, in the adult setting, how many times do we view other people, right? Maybe our coworkers, maybe even our family members, friends. We see their cars, we see their lifestyle, we see their relationships, we see their income, and we don't use that as motivation or inspiration to put fuel to our fire to do better. We just instead kind of complain and focus on, a comparison rather than competition. And I was thinking about that really, really in detail today in the sauna, where it's like, man, I really want my son, to grow up as he's playing sports to focus on that competitive drive, but never the comparison drive. Because I think there's a big difference, and there is a dividing factor there, where it's just like you can be hot or cold. You can be competitive and have something fuel you, or you can be, in this comparison, method or mindset where it's very negative. It's very toxic. And instead of you like, oh, I wish I could do better, or, I want this, it's taking you away from the, okay, how can I do better? how can I do this differently? And that's the dividing factor between a competitive nature and a comparison. Comparison is you want. It's kind of like chasing a girl, right? And like she wants nothing to do with you and you continue to chase. You're just pushing her more and more away. Well, it's needy. It's desperate. Instead of that competitive drive of, okay, hey, she says no. What can I do better to, maybe focus on personal development, maybe start going to the gym, working out, maybe start, focusing on some skills to make some more money, whatever the case may be, to better myself and then maybe attract somebody else into my life. There's such a big difference, And once again, I was thinking about this sitting in a sauna where it's like, well, putting that aside, and let's say people aren't playing sports nowadays, in their adult careers because, they work in their 9-to-5s, busy with other things, family, obviously, stuff like that, It's like, so who really is the competition? If you shouldn't be viewing your, friend success and family success and coworker success, who should you be viewing as the competitor out there? And then I really started to think about it. And it's you. Like, think about it. How many times have you looked yourself in the mirror and said to yourself, I should be better than who I was yesterday? Or I should be better than who I was last week? Or I should be better than who I was last month? Maybe even last year? How many times have you guys even asked yourself that question? That's a hard question for most guys to even ask. It's just like, let's face the facts. Most people even have a hard time with staring themselves in the mirror. They don't ever want to look into their eyes. They'll look at their nose, their eyebrows, their lips. They'll focus on putting, toothpaste on the toothbrush and just like daydreaming and never really have a conversation with themselves. Never really be true to themselves. And sometimes it's that little small step outside your comfort zone, like looking at yourself in the mirror, looking at yourself in the eyes, and just having a conversation. I need to do better. Or, a reality check, holding yourself accountable. Did I do better? Let me ask you something. How much different would your life improve if you start asking yourself that each and every day? Am I better than who I was yesterday? And then you have to man up and you have to answer that to yourself. You can't lie to yourself. You can lie to your spouse. You can lie to your coworkers. You can lie to your boss, your neighbors, your kids even. You can't lie to yourself, And it's just like one of those things where you have to know your true identity. And it's hard. I'll be honest. But I think like in terms of us doing the hard things, that's what makes our life easier down the road. As opposed to us focusing on the easy things, which only makes it harder down the road. So it's just like, how do you view yourself when you look at yourself in the mirror? If there is no comparison out there, there is no competitor out there, it's just you versus you. What are those conversations that you're having with yourself? How do you actually view yourself? Like, when I view myself first thing in the morning, and I'm not trying to say this to be prideful or put my ego on blast, but I am so confident, but yet I'm so hungry to do better. It's like, I look at myself, I'm proud of everything I've been through, because I've been through a lot. I'm so confident because of who I am today and everything that I'm, going through recently. But, within the past 24 hours, it's like, yeah, I'm very confident. It's just like, hey, I wanted to do this. I always, every single night, I give myself tasks to do, right? And this is why I'm saying I'm confident. It's because I give myself tasks, and then the following day at work, I literally do all those tasks. All of it. It's always on my whiteboard, and by the end of the day, it's always taken off my whiteboard. Now, if let's say it's at the end of the day and there's still stuff on there, I'm not going to sleep until I'm finished with those tasks. And that's what I mean by I'm very confident. I'm not saying vanity reasons like, got my abs, got my chest or anything like that. No, I mean confident in I show up each and every day and I focus on making the world better. I focus on making my family better. I focus on making my team better. I focus on making myself better. And I'm very confident when I say that. But yet I'm so hungry to do more. It's like I'm looking at myself, so proud of myself, but at the same time, so hungry to do more and never satisfied. It's like I'm proud but never satisfied, if that makes sense. And I honestly wish that somebody would have taught me this a lot sooner in life. Because how I start to view myself, that's it. Myself, looking at myself dead in the eyes in the mirror, start to really shift my identity and really start to shift the world that I was living in. Because how I started to view myself and having a better relationship with myself, it almost made it seem like other people start to view me that way as well. It's kind of like the world being a mirror method. It's like how you view this world is what you portray and bring back into your own life. How you view yourself is how other people view you. And so I was really starting to think about, man, I really wish somebody would have, like my basketball coach or something like that, baseball coach, whatever, would maybe after a practice or a game, hyping up everybody, hyping up the team, and really would have said that. Like, hey, even though we're about to go out there, put everything on the line, I want you guys to know that at the end of the day, that's not the true competitor out there. It's how you view yourself in the mirror. And as long as you're showing up each and every day, being 1% better than the person staring back at you in the mirror, you're winning this game of life. I just wish somebody would have taught me that at such an early age. And I was thinking about that today in the sauna. Like I said, my phone was overheated. It was just me and my thoughts. And I was just thinking about that. Where it's like, man, what is one thing that I can really focus on teaching my son? And I feel like every month I want to focus on one thing with him, as he's getting older, to really working on his mindset. We love saying affirmations. We love doing different things, focusing on our mindset, focusing on pushing our bodies, different things like that. It's wild because he'll be running around the house and I'll be like, Oakley, you're so fast. You're so strong. How'd you get so strong? How'd you get so fast? And this kid says, he's like, I'm eating lots of protein like my daddy. I'm working out like my daddy. And it's just like, I love that. It warms my heart. It melts my heart because he's learning so much. And I always say this, children from when they're first born till about the age of 7, their subconscious mind is wide open. And this really forms their beliefs, really forms their habits, really forms their viewpoints on certain things. And as he's getting older, I wish that, I focused on how I can be doing things differently. And I got the idea today in the sauna. And that's why I wanted to just kind of share with you on today's episode is just like, no matter how old your kids are, no matter how old you are, you can still be focusing on changing your mindset. And that's my wish. That's my hope for you guys listening to this message, is that stop comparing yourself to your neighbors, your coworkers, right? Family members, because it doesn't matter out there. It's okay to be, have that competitive drive for sure. But remember, comparison is needy. It's desperate. Competitive is empowering. It inspires, it motivates, it pushes somebody. There's two separate things going on here. But regardless, I want you to start viewing yourself as, hey, am I doing better than where I was yesterday or last week or last month or last year? And then how am I having that relationship with myself? If you can really focus on taking one thing away from anything that we go over at Heartletics and teaching people on how to improve on their mindset, really focus on that. Is start becoming your own best friend. But at the same time, right, you should obviously feel, confident in who you are, love yourself, right? But just like I said, stay hungry. Never be satisfied. Always look for rooms to improve and grow on. And I think that's where it really forms into becoming better at leadership, and having those quality traits. Because when you can focus becoming on the best version of yourself, you're automatically going to inspire other people to start doing the same as well. So hopefully you guys got some value from today's episode. If you did, definitely let me know. Maybe go share this on your social media page or share this with your loved one. And as always, this is Coach Joe with the Heartletics Podcast. We'll talk next time. Peace out, Girl Scouts.